Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today, we're going to be going over the 4-cable method. Now, I normally use another method of hooking up my Zoom B6 for live shows. And I've already explained that to you guys in another video, so it's literally called Zoom B6 Live Settings. Like literally. But the 4-cable method allows you to run effects into the preamp of your amplifier. So in this case, we're using a Ampeg BA210v2, right? And we're taking some of the effects from the Zoom B6 and we're running them into the actual input jack. And then we have some effects that we're taking that signal and running those signal back into the B6 and then back into the amp, but uncolored by the preamp. Things like, so basically, things like overdrive and things like that, you want to be able to have that stuff go before the preamp a lot of times. But with this method, you can have it go before the preamp or you can have it go after the preamp. You can have delay and reverb that doesn't get colored by the actual preamp itself of the amp. So let's go ahead and get started here. We gotta hook it up first though. So of course we're gonna need you some cables. Alright, you're gonna need you some cables. 4 of them. And in this case, I actually use 5. If you count the XLR, cable. So I already got the XLR running out of the Zoom B6, as you can see at the top of the screen there. That's the back of the Zoom B6. And I have the XLR running into the system already. And then we're going to take these cables and we're going to hook it up. So let's go. So I had to switch mics here, different part of the room. So, first things first, normally you would just, if you're just running just the Zoom B6, you would run your bass directly into the input, but I'm running my, pedal board, so I'm just going to take in the output from my pedal board. I'm going to connect that to the input of the Zoom B6. Bam. Done. 1 cable. Let's go. We're going to take the second cable and we're going to go from the send to the input of the amp. Put that this way. And Jabba. Let's go. Mind you, I know it's a lot, it seems like a lot, it might seem like overkill. But nothing's overkill when you're trying to sound good. Huh? Ain't nothing overkill. You got to sound good, baby. The way it sounds is everything. Alright, so now we're going to take the send from the amp and run that back to the return of the Zoom B6. Right? So bam. Then we're going to take the main output from the Zoom B6, the amp out, Also doubles as a headphone out. And we're going to run that to the return of the amp itself. The Ampeg BA210. And I'm so sorry, guys. They are, if you don't have a Ampeg BA210, they have discontinued. This is my favorite. Oh man, this is my favorite combo ever. Especially at a 210, this is definitely my favorite. So I'm gonna do whatever I can. But luckily, you know, I just had this replaced by them maybe last year. So Ampeg's great with their warranties, by the way, guys. So I don't know. It might be reason you might go with them. But yeah. So now we're actually all hooked up. So let's just recap. We have the send from the Zoom B6 running into the input of the amp. Right? So that's, we're sending the signal out of the Zoom B6 into the preamp. Then we're sending a signal out of the preamp through the send of the amp. We're sending that back to the return of the Zoom B6. Right? So we're bringing the signal back. And that, when we did all of that, we pretty much sent the signal from the B6 to the input of the amp, and then sent that signal back out of the amp, back into the Zoom B6. That's important. Then we take the amp out, the main out, and we run that all the way back to the return of the amp, which bypasses, when we send it back through the main out, we're sending it, those effects that we're sending back are not going to be colored by the Ampeg BA's head. You know what I'm saying? It won't be colored again. So, and one of the reasons this is useful, when you have an amp like the BA, it has things like this scrambler circuit. I'll go ahead and turn that on just so we can have, hear a little bit of that. We're actually all hooked up here, guys. All we need is see if we get all right. I'm just plugging in my bass now, guys. Plugging in my bass now. Alright, so now we all hooked up here. I'm going to switch this view to this iPad scene so you guys can see what I'm doing here. This is what I'm running on the Zoom B6. Bring these levels back here. Yeah, sorry about that. So now you actually, I'm gonna turn this off real quick. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna put in my in-ears real quick. That way I can hear a little more precisely what's going on. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm gonna mic this cabinet up real quick. So just take a little simple little kick mic. This is a D10. I think I've been calling this thing a D12. It's actually a D10 kick mic, CAD. Just like came in a drum pack, like the little drum pack. We're gonna take that and run this over here. Got somebody. Bam. So now we'll have that in there too. We're gonna start without it mic'd up first, just so you can hear the difference coming straight from the DI. And one thing I love about the B6 is it has these little DI types on here that emulate the Reggie or the what's the other one? The Neve, the active DI. Hold up. Get y'all here. Is that a little better? Hey, testing. So they have a few of them in there that are amazing DI types that help you sound good just going through the XLR. So we're going to actually check those out too. So we're going to go just DI first, and then we'll see, get this running. And then we'll run it back. So yep. Matter of fact, take that scrambler off. I don't need that. So one of the advantages, just before we even play, I know I'm doing a lot more talking before I'm playing today. I usually play by now, but it's because the setup, you have to, set it up first. If you can't set it up, it ain't no good of me explaining everything else. So I do apologize for the extra talking today, and normally I'm like straight to the plan. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, now that we're set up, you got different tones you can access. We're gonna do from the preamp first. Here we go. Of the preamp of the BA.